Hello guys, good morning. Am I audible? Guys, good morning. Am I audible? Dinesh, Irfan.
Good morning, sir. Yeah, you are audible.
Okay. Okay, listen. So, what we are discussing, do you remember? So guys, what we are discussing, do you remember? Yes or no? Others? Irfan, Naveen, Prashant, Raghavendra, what we are discussing. Friday, what we have done. Not straight. VPC, correct. So, VPC is our topic. Virtual private cloud. So, virtual private cloud that will provide you the isolation. That will provide you the isolation, right? Between the cloud. So we have heard many terminology, right, with respect to your virtual private cloud. And also we have done subnet. We have discussed the subnet also. So this is what, that day, we have covered. So VPC, it will provide you the logical isolation and it is the regional service. And whenever, if you go with any region, in default, you will get the VPC, right? So this and all we have covered, and also architecture we have seen. So only theoretical part we have done in the previous session. So in today's session, I will teach you how to create the VPC. How to create the VPC, that we will try to understand. Right. Listen. See, this is your AWS management console. So I will quickly search a VPC part and click on this VPC. This, whether you are creating or not, in default in AWS, you can able to see the VPC. It's a default VPC available in your AWS. In every region, you can able to see this VPC. So as I mentioned in the previous session also, can you see the default VPC? This is the default VPC, which is nothing but yes, they have given. So we can able to see the VPC in every region. So here I have selected the London. Even if I go for some other, say Mumbai, where is Mumbai? Yeah, here is the Mumbai. See, here also you have a VPC. That's the reason I said VPC is also a regional service. So if I take the North Virginia, here also you can see the VPC. So it means that in every region, Irfan, turn off your video. I think Prashant, turn off your video. In every region, you can find the VPC. In every region, you can find the VPC. If I click on subnet, can I able to see any subnet? Default subnet? Yes. Again, in the same way, in default, in AWS, you guys can find the subnet also. You can find the subnet also. Guys, VPC is a regional level and subnet is at the availability zone level. Suppose if you take North Virginia, there we have a 6 availability zone. In each availability zone, you can see one subnet. I will show, see here. In US East, 1A, 1D, 1E, 1F, 1C, 1B. See, in each availability zone, you can find one subnet, guys. Suppose if you take Mumbai, Mumbai has 3 availability zones. Then obviously, how many subnet you can see? 3 subnet you can find it. It doesn't mean like in each availability zone, you can able to create only one subnet. Not like that. You can able to create one or more subnet also. But default subnet will be appear one in each availability zone. In the same way, if I take Canada Central, so based on the availability zone, you can see number of subnets here. So here also we have a 3 availability zone. That's the reason in each availability zone, you can find the subnet also. So remember, VPC is a logical isolation, and the subnet, it is also another logical isolation between the resources. Between the resources that day we have covered. Fine. Now, suppose I need to create my own VPC. It means that custom VPC I want to create. How can I create the custom VPC? So for that, go to this the VPC dashboard, click on this, and here you can see the create VPC, right? Yes. Just to click on the create VPC part. Create VPC. So the first one, the resources to create. Yes, of course, I want to create the VPC. So there are 2 options they have given. One is VPC only and the VPC and more. As of now, we'll go with VPC only. Not VPC and more, just to create VPC only. Right. We need to give some kind of name also. Say I'm giving a name called VPC hyphen, maybe a demo hyphen 1. Like that I have given some name. Come below. And here we have a CIDR block or CIDR block. IP version 4, a CIDR block. So whether you are going to give a manual input or you are going to allocate by the IP version CIDR block. Maybe I can give the manual input as of now. Here I can select any CIDR block here. You remember that day I told you. I hope you all remember. So the IP addressing that we have covered. IP addressing we have covered. See, 10.0.0.0/32. How many hosts you will get it? Totally you will get one host, one IP address you will get. But if you go with the 10.0.0.0/24, totally you will get the 256 IP addresses. And 10.0.0./16, then you will get around 65,536 IP addresses we will get from the AWS management console from your VPC. See, here I can provide any number, but there is a minimum and the maximum range, guys. So, which is the minimum is you can give 10.0.0.0/24. The maximum is 10.0.0.0/16 we can give. Suppose if I select 10. 0.0.0/8 if you give, whether it is accepting, yeah, maybe it is accepting. Let me check. I have given like this. I have given like this. Now come below. And as of now, no need to focus on IP version 6. Just I am selecting no IP version 6. I am selecting only IP version 4. And we have a tenancy also. So what is tenancy? I will tell you in a minute. Wait for a while. And directly, I can click on create a VPC. See, we are getting an error, right? What it is saying, a block size must be between a 16 and 28 net mask, right? So the another name of, did you remember in the right hand side, we are giving the host ID, right? Or prefix. It is also called as net mask. It is also called as net mask. Only I can able to give 16 and 28. So let me make it as 16. Will it work? Yes. Now I can able to create a VPC here. So this is the VPC, guys. Now if I click on this your VPC, here this is the default VPC. Whenever AWS, for each and every region, there is a default VPC. There is a default VPC. This default VPC is also called as main VPC. So this is the default VPC, but okay, no problem. So default VPC. And here we have created our VPC, the customized VPC that we have selected here. You guys can create many VPC, guys. Suppose if you want to create another VPC also, say I have clicked VPC only and say this is VPC -demo -2, like they have created. Now come below. And then if you want to give some other IP address, say 10.0.0/ say suppose I'm selecting 28 here and come below. And let me directly click on the creative VPC. See, this is my another VPC. So this is very easy, right? You can able to create many VPC, whatever that you want. So far I have created 2 VPC, which is demo 1 and demo 2. So when I create this VPC, how many IP address will get it? So in order to understand this one, so let me type ipaddressguide.com. And here I will copy this IP address. This is CIDR. Now let me paste it. Click on convert. See how many IP address that I'm getting. 65,536 IP address I'm getting. Suppose if I give 28 here and click on calculate. So here I'm getting around 16 IP addresses I'm getting. So whenever your host ID got increased, the number of IP address will be reduced. It varies from 1 to 32. Remember, the host ID, the net mask, or a prefix, it will vary from 1 to 32. I hope you remember that one. Fine. So this is how you can create a VPC. You can create a VPC. So once you have created a VPC, what is the next step? The next step, you have to create the IP address. Sorry, you have to create the route. Sorry. You have to create the subnet. Once you have a VPC, you have to divide your VPC into the multiple parts. That's nothing but a subnet. So let me go with the subnet now. Click on subnet. So before that, any question guys so far? Can you confirm any question? How to create the VPC? Just at least reply in the chat box saying yes or no. Fine. Right. So let me go with the subnet now. So click on create subnet again. You have to select the VPC part. In that you can see the subnet and click on create a subnet. Now Let me select the VPC. What you need to select? You need to select the VPC, guys. So simply you can click on this. There are three VPCs are available, right? One is default VPC and there are two VPC I have created. Maybe I will go with this one. The first VPC I have selected, right? This is a CIDR, right? CIDR or CIDR 10.0.0/16. We will get around 65,536 IP addresses for this particular VPC. Now, let me give the subnet name. Say this is subnet -demo -1. Like that, I have given subnet. And availability zone. Did you remember I said for a single VPC, we have many availability zone, many subnet. In each availability zone, you can create a subnet. Wherever you want, you can able to create it. So let me select one availability zone. Say this is 1A where I need to create a subnet. Already here we have a default subnet. Now I'm going to create my own subnet. Click on this. And it is asking again, can you tell me again, what is the CIDR block for this one? What is the CIDR block? Because we have a 65,536 IP addresses. We are creating one subnet. For this subnet, how many IP address that I need to route? How many IP address that I'm going to utilize? That I have to give. So for that, let me go to this site 24x7.com. And what I need to do here, I'm going to here I'm going to okay. So this is the URL actually. IP version subnet calculator. So here I can give what is the network address. So I'm giving 16 here. Then after that, here we will get the 65,536 IP addresses, right? Maybe let me divide this subnet into two. Sorry, let me divide this into 4 subnet or 8 subnet, whatever it might be. So maybe can I classify into 8 subnet? Now you will get the range from here to here, from here to here. So let me copy this one. Let me copy this one. Okay. Here and paste it, which is slash. So they have given 19, right? Better you can make it as 20. Here, make it as 20. So if you want to know how many IP addresses you will get, just give it here. So around 4,096 IP addresses you will get. That's it. Let me click on create a subnet. Now see, one subnet got created for this particular VPC. For this particular VPC. So if you want to check this one, let me check. So this is the VPC ID, right? Copy this. So this is the VPC. This is the VPC demo one actually. For this VPC, we have created the subnet. So let me create another subnet also. Say this is subnet demo -2. And before that, I need to select the VPC. This is the VPC. And then give subnet -demo -2. So select the availability zone also. So this time I will go with the 1B. I will go with the 1B. And select this slider also 10.0.0. Slash, which is the range I'm going to create. I'm going to take this range. Slash 20. This is the range I'm going to create. So click on create a subnet. And this is then another subnet. And let me create a third subnet also. Same VPC. And better we can create one more subnet also, no problem. Say this is subnet -demo -3. And select another availability zone, which is 1D. And this one, and this is the range. Slash 20. And click on create a subnet. So for how many subnet I have created? See, I have created totally 3 subnets I have created. I have created 3 subnets. Inside the 3 subnet, in each availability zone I have created 1A, 1B, and 1D. Any questions so far? How to create the subnet for the particular VPC? Any question? How to create the subnet for each VPC? Good. But now the question is, guys, what is my question? Tell me the subnet that I have created, right? Whether it's a public subnet or private subnet. What do you think? Whatever the subnet that I have created, whether it is a public subnet or private subnet, what do you think? I already told you. I hope you are clear with this picture. In your VPC, we can have 2 types. One is you can go with the public subnet, or you can go with the private subnet also. Whenever if you want to host your public application or public services, then you can go for a public subnet. And private services, if you want to opt, you can go for private subnet. So now the question is, tell me whether the subnet that I have created, which is public or private. Can you guess?
Is it public?
No. No. See, in default, the subnet, it is created inside your VPC, which is private. It is private. It is not public. See, suppose, let me click on this and go to actions. Edit subnet settings. In default, it is a private subnet. If you want to apply the public, you have to enable this one. You have to enable an auto assign public IP version 4 address. You have to enable this. Suppose if I let me click on this subnet demo 1 and click on save. And this is now, it is a public subnet. So like that, you can change it actually. Suppose if you want to make this is a public subnet, then what you need to do? You have to click on this actions, edit the subnet settings. Here you can enable the public IP address. So then click on save. Then this become your public subnet. So in default, the subnet is created inside the VPC. It's a private subnet. Everyone clear? Yes or no?
Clear.
Cool. So here we have one private subnet and we have it two public subnet. So in my VPC under, we have one private subnet I have created and we have created two public subnet we have created. Now listen. Suppose let me launch one EC2 instance. I will go with EC2 instance. And click on launch instance. Now I will give a name called EC2 maybe a server. EC2 server. Then come below. EMI we have selected instance type. And I will go with without a key pair. This is the important section which is called network settings. Here it is selected with the default VPC. So what I will do, click on edit. Now I'm going to select my VPC that I have created, which is the default VPC. So let me click on this. I will go with the VPC demo 1. VPC demo 1. And it is asking a subnet also. See, there are 3 subnet I have created. This is the 2 public subnet and 1 is private subnet. So I will go with private subnet, guys, first of all. I will go with this one, subnet demo 3, which is the private subnet. And here for private subnet, definitely I'm going to disable the public IP address. I don't want a public IP address for this one. And suppose for a security group, click on this existing security group. We will get the security group from the default. Okay. See, when I click on create security group, here we have to give our security group name and all. But if I go with the select existing group, here we have the default, right? Let me click on this one as of now. So that's it. Click on launch instance. You requested instant type T2 micro is not supported in your availability zone CS central. Okay. Let me once again click on launch because I have selected the central. That's the reason. Let me check. EC2 server. So AMI, T2 micro, whether something is possible. Free tire. Only one beer. Then whatever the job that I have done. Let me go with the T2 nano. Proceed without a keeper. Edit. And go with the VPC. And select this subnet. After that, just click on existing and select the default VPC and come below. That's it. Click on launch instance. I'm choosing central 1A or 1B. So we'll create the public subnet. Yes. See, here I have created the public server. If I click on view all instances, when I click on this, can you see here? We got one public IP address. We got one private IP address. But let me go to the subnet portion. I will go to the VPC and click on this. And this is my subnet. So better I can create one subnet. And the subnet for this one. And this is public, not public, private subnet. I will create private subnet. And the availability zone. So let me select 1A. And the CIDR I have to give. So CIDR, maybe I can give this one. Done. Click on create subnet. We got the private subnet, right? So this private subnet, I'm going to edit the subnet settings. I will enable the, okay, in default, it's a private one, no issue. This is the subnet we got. Now, let me go to my EC2 and click on launch instance. This is EC2 and AMI T2 micro. Proceed without a keypad. So click on edit. Here I can select my VPC and the subnet. Say suppose I will go with the private subnet this time. Click on launch instance. Now, can you all see guys here? When I click on this, can you see you don't see the public IP address? Only for particular machine, this subnet, you can see only the private IP address. But if you select this one, here I can see the public as well as private IP address. But if you go with this one, I cannot see the public because it is hosted on private subnet. That's the reason I can see only the private IP address. Are you clear, everyone? Yes, no? Fine. So let me delete my resources. And listen. So one way how to create the VPC that I told you. First of all, we have to create the VPC and then we have to create the subnet and all. But this time, I will try to create a VPC by using this option, guys. VPC and more. I will not go with the VPC, guys. When you go with the VPC, only VPC you can be able to create it. Then later you have to create the subnet and all. But if you go with the VPC and more, In a single shot, you can be able to create the VPC and all. VPC and submit. How? So instead of selecting this one, I will select this one. Now it is asking, what is the name we need to give? Say this is VPC new. Like that, I can give some name. Suppose I can give 13 March 2023 using this. All right. Done. Now, again, I have to give the IP version cider block. Yeah, let me go with this one. 16. IP version 16 is enough. How many IP addresses you will get it? See, here you can see the thing also. 65,536. Can you see the biz also? Right hand side. See, this is the biz name. And here, let me change the thing. Can I select the Mumbai? I will select the Mumbai. And guys, can you look into here? In Mumbai, how many subnets are there? There are many subnets. There are two already zone, 1A and 1B. We can create many already zone. So let me give the name here. Say VPC hyphen demo hyphen using Visa. Like that. So this is the VPC. And you can create as much that you want. The subnet also you can able to create it. So let me come below. And this is 65,536 IP address, you will get it. As of now, no need to focus on this one. And tenancy, what is tenancy? Because did you remember in the second day or third day session, I said there are 4 pricing options available in your EC2 or in your AWS. One is spot instance. The second one, reserved instance. And third one, on demand. And then we have covered the dedicated host also. In the same way, you have a tenancy option. Either you can go for default or dedicated. So default, AWS will provide you the server. AWS will provide you the VPC. But if you go with a dedicated VPC, you will get the separate, dedicated physical machine from the AWS. So dedicated will provide you the more performance. Dedicated will give you the good performance, but the cost is also very high. It is very, very expensive, right? So that's the dedicated host. So let me go with the default. And here you have to select number of availability zone that you are going to choose. Totally, we have 3 availability zone in Mumbai region. So as of now, I will go with only 1 availability zone. It is enough to me. And here you can see how many VPC that your subnet you are going to create. I am going to create only 1 subnet. I will create it. Number of subnet I am going to create, which is 1 subnet. 1 public subnet and 1 private subnet. Maybe I will create 1 public subnet and 1 private subnet, or 1 public subnet, 0 private subnet, or 1 public subnet and 2 private subnet. Whatever that you want, you can create it. See, when you select the VPC and more option, in this screen itself, you can select the subnet also. So let me select 1 public subnet and 1 private subnet. And NAT gateway, no need to focus on. Simply you can click on create VPC. See, it will do the VPC for you. It will do the subnet for you. And it will do the route table for you. Route table and all later I will cover. So click on this view VPC. Now if you see your VPC, here we have VPC demo using Wizard VPC. If I click on subnet, subnet also got created, right? Can you see subnet also got created? There are 2 subnet got created. Which one is public? Which one is private? So let me click on this and I will try to understand whether it's a public subnet or private subnet. Actions, edit subnet settings. And here it is a private subnet. It is a private subnet. So let me, this is a private subnet. But if you go this one, We go this one. This is the public subnet. Let me confirm. Edit subnet settings. Enable auto assign custom own IP addresses and all. I think it's a public subnet. So 10.0.0.0/20. So it's a public subnet, private public subnet, and this one is private subnet. So let me confirm. For that, I will create an EC2 launch my instance. Say this is my EC2 -1 or public. And I will select this one and I will select this one. And subnet I'm going to create select, which is public subnet. And click on launch instance. Now click on this. Why I'm not able to use the public? I think in default it's a private only. I think. I click on VPC 1 second and click on subnets. And this is the public rate. And I can click on this edit subnet settings. Click on subnet. So go to my EC2 instances. Create one more instance, guys. 1 minute. So EC2 public. Select the VPC, this one. Then select the public. Select existing. And this one. Click on launch instance. And click on view all instances. Now, yes, I can see the public IP address and private IP address. But suppose if I click on another instance, which is EC2 a private, and this time I will go with proceed without a key pair and click on edit. And I'm selecting this is using the wizard and which is the private subnet. And I will go with the default VPC. Click on launch instance and click on view all instances. See, here you can see only a private IP address. You cannot see the public IP address. So remember, there are two ways in which you can able to create the VPC. One is you guys can select this option, VPC only or VPC and more. VPC only means only VPC you can able to create it. You cannot create the routing table, you cannot create the subnet at all. But if you go for VPC and more option in a single screen, you can select the private subnet, a public subnet, and the sub and routing table, everything you can able to create. That's the advantage, guys, behind your VPC and more option. So most of the time, you will try to go for VPC and more. Thereby, you will, in a single screen, you can create everything. Everyone clear? Any questions so far? Can I confirm? Guys, I'm asking just to respond. Remember, guys, whenever you create a VPC and more option, you will get the subnet, you will get the route table, everything. Suppose, let me click on this and we will get this VPC ID, copy this VPC ID and go to this subnet. Now let me filter this. When you press enter, can you see two subnet got added right under this VPC? How many subnet we have created? Totally two subnet we have created. One is public subnet and one other is private subnet. These two subnet we have created. Let me go with the routing table and paste this and press enter. How many routing tables are available? How many routing table? So for this public subnet and private subnet, you can see the routing table also. So what is routing table? Remember in the previous session I said, what is routing table and all? In this image itself, you can see what is routing table. Whenever, if you want to have the communication, between the internet and your subnet, the resources. The resource needs some internet from the internet gateway. In between, we have a routing table. Subnet and your internet. Maybe consider like it's a local. A subnet is nothing but your cider and local. It should have the communication, right? Then you need the routing table. So here, okay, maybe it's better I can talk about later. Tomorrow we will talk about the routing table. As of now, only focus on subnet and your VPC part. So if you don't have any question, we can wind up. If you have any question, you can ask me now. Any questions so far? How to create the VPC, how to create the subnet? Can you quickly confirm? Today you guys can practice how to create the VPC and subnet. Tomorrow maybe we'll talk more with respect to VPC itself. We'll see tomorrow, guys. Thank you. Bye. Naveen, I will upload the video only in the evening. The reason because it will take around 2 hours time and I have another session also. Evening I will upload. Thank you. Bye.